Whether it's Christmas, birthdays, or Father's Day, dads are just tough to buy for. I'm going to help you today with 7 ideas that you might can consider giving your dad for Christmas. Okay, I can't speak for all dads, but I'll definitely speak for myself. Guys, dads, usually like something personalized. They like something with meaning behind it. So if you're planning on socks, ties, cologne, anything like that, just forget it. Shaving stuff, no, that's just a typical gift that doesn't really mean anything. So put some meaning, put some thought, put some consideration, some personalization behind the gift that you're preparing for your dad. So if any of those ideas, I'm sorry if I just blew your Christmas list and that's what you already had purchased for your dad, a nice pair of socks or a tie, sorry, but that's probably not going to be great to give, but you can always prepare for next year or for Father's Day or for a birthday, or actually you got, right now when I'm doing this video, you've got a couple of weeks left before Christmas, so hopefully some of these things can help you guys out. So number 1, and this is in no particular order, I'm just going to give you 7 general ideas of stuff that you can get your dad and to see what I'm talking about. The first one you can consider is a gift card to a nice restaurant that you know he loves. Now, you would think, okay, I've got to give it, enough for him to eat. If he's married and your parents are still together, then you've got to give it an amount enough for him and your mom to go. Well, yeah, let me back up just for a second. If you don't have a relationship with your dad, or maybe your dad isn't in your life for whatever reason, I'm talking about the next best thing. Maybe your granddad, maybe an uncle, maybe the person, your stepdad, whatever it is, whatever role is filled in that dad category, that's who I'm talking about. So find a gift card or get a gift card to a restaurant that you know he loves. But here's the catch. You want to make it for twice the amount so he can eat and someone else can eat, but that someone else is you. You need to include an invitation in the card along with it, in the gift card to the restaurant. You need to include an invitation for a date night with you so that you can set aside some time. He can set aside some time. It's just you two. Sorry, Mom, this is Dad's gift. This is just you two going out, enjoying a nice dinner, enjoying some time together. And definitely, if you're going to do this, plan the date. Don't just have the date card show up and be unprepared. I would have conversations ready and in queue to talk about, especially if you and your dad aren't really easy to talk to with each other. Your conversations usually aren't that great. Go ahead and have a couple of things lined up. To ask about his work, to ask about his childhood, ask about his relationship with his parents. What are some of the fondest memories? What is his favorite Christmas growing up? All this stuff. What does he remember about his grandparents, about your great-grandparents? Ask him things, really dive in and let him light up and find that thing that he likes to talk about. Find stories that he wants to share, that he wants to talk about. And let it be a true celebration of him, because after all, this is your gift to him. Number 2 on the list, I would say most guys like gadgets. Most guys like little things like pocket knives. Here's one for an example. This is a very cool pocket knife. Open it up. A very cool pocket knife that I have right here. You can get these knives from any AutoZone or Pep Boys. Believe it or not, a car part store has these knives at the front counter. They're usually, Smith & Wesson or Buck knives. Very cool, but not just a knife, because he probably has a million of those. What I would do if I were you, and I wish, this were for me, on the side where there's no inscription or no logo, so you got the logo right there, on the back side, go to a jeweler and get something inscribed right there on the blade. And if you're a guy getting a gift for a dad, this one's easy. Just get iron sharpens iron. because that's a biblical concept where you sharpen each other. You're appreciating your dad for sharpening you, for him being iron, sharpening you as iron. Even if you're a daughter and you put iron sharpens iron, or put his favorite verse, or put maybe a funny thing that you two share together, but personalize, not just his name. I would do something as a memory, something not just, Christmas and then the year. I would put a Bible verse or some phrase or some nickname that you guys share, only you two share together. And that would personalize this into a super, super gift that he would cherish forever. Another cool idea. Another great idea, I actually got one of these from my daughter, and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have it on right now. But a leather bracelet, you can get those on Etsy, usually etsy.com. You can go there and find anything customized or handmade. But she got me a leather bracelet that had the Bible verse about going and reaching other nations, because I went on a mission trip to Kenya. On the inside, she had debossed in the leather the actual global coordinates of Kenya on there. In Nanyuki, Kenya, she had the coordinates, which was really, really cool, on the inside of the bracelet. So the verse about reaching the nations, and then on the inside, the coordinates for the global coordinates for Nanyuki, Kenya, which I thought was super cool. Very personal, a cool touch. Maybe your dad's not one that likes a leather bracelet. Maybe he's not cool like me. But anyway, there's several different kind of bracelets out there, maybe even a watch band, but just get it inscribed, get something on it to personalize it. That's the key with any of these gifts. If your dad is a gadget nut, kind of a tech geek, if he doesn't have Apple TV, you can get one of those little Apple TV boxes, which is really cool. There's a lot of stuff on that he can enjoy, a lot of things he can subscribe to and be a part of to tie into his TV. So an Apple TV device or an Apple Watch, if he's gadgetry and he would like an Apple Watch. There's so many cool things that those watches can do now. If you're on a budget, an Echo Dot is super cool. That Alexa tool that you can have in your kitchen or your den, kind of ask it anything. It's so easy to hook one of those things up, tie it to your Wi-Fi, and you can tell Alexa to play any song. You can ask any question. You can ask the weather. You can ask game scores, whatever. It's like $40 or $30. It's not really a lot of money, but Echo Dot is super cool. Now, that's not real personal, that gift, these tech gifts that I'm talking about. But if you've got a techie kind of geeky dad, or that just likes gadgets, any of those three would be a phenomenal gift. Or I think Alexa actually makes a device to control your lights, or your heating and air, can control things in the room. So you can look for that as well. That's another cool idea for that techie dad. Number 5, one thing that I actually asked for this year is a leather case for my iPhone. Leather cases are just super cool. And I've got an iPhone that's a little bit older, so I don't necessarily want to get it this year until I get a newer phone later. I don't want to get a cool leather case and then get another phone in a year, and then there's no point, it's outdated. But you can look on Etsy or Amazon as well and find leather cases for your dad's phone. Now, there's some that just clip onto the back, which leaves the face open. That's what I would definitely prefer. And then they make the foldable kind that opens up and it protects it. So it's like a little booklet, depending on what your dad would want. But once again, it's leather. Get it and take it to a local leather shop and get it engraved. Well, it wouldn't be engraved. I think it's called debossed. You would want it debossed with something. So put a Bible verse, put something, a memory between you guys. Put something on there that means something between you two. Because a leather case is super cool. That protected jacket for a phone, or whatever phone that he's got. They make different sizes for different models. But definitely get it debossed with something on it to personalize it, because that makes it that extra step and super cool. Number 6, and this is something that I would like. When I think about my car and stuff that I would like for my car, my daughter got me a dash cam. and it just goes on your dashboard. It's super easy to install. You just film everything in front of you. It's great for insurance purposes. It's great for a lot of cool stuff just to be able to have that, because when you're driving, sometimes you see things that you just need filming, but especially if you're in a car wreck or anything, dash cams are just really a good idea in general to have. And it kind of goes along the lines of that geeky thing, that geeky dad, that techie dad, to see if he would like something like that. But that's a cool idea. And then this is a super easy one, but very practical. Kind of nerdy, but very practical. I constantly lose things in my seat, between my console and my seat. That crack, I lose things down there. There's that little tube. It's like a material tube that you tuck right there, and I think it's called a drop stop. But they make so many different kinds of that. A drop stop, get a pair of those for his car to go beside his seat and the other side. It's very practical, not real personable. That gift, probably not a lot of memories in that one, but a super practical gift to get a guy, because we're constantly dropping our phone, change, food, anything just drops down in between that spot, and our hands and our arms are just too big to get down in there and get it, and it's very, very aggravating. And the last cool gift, number 7, that I want to tell you about is my favorite belt in the whole wide world. This belt, called Immanuel Riparo, that's the name brand. Immanuel means God with us. Riparo is the Italian word for shelter, refuge, and protection. So God's with us, and He's our shelter, refuge, and protection. That's what that means. And then the whole concept behind it is Romans 13:14, clothe yourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ. That's a verse in the Bible that's really cool, and it kind of plays on that. Then the whole length of the belt is the thorns of, the crown of thorns that Christ wore. So it's a reminder on a belt about the suffering that Christ paid for our behalf, salvation, the whole thing about Jesus giving His life and dying voluntarily on the cross, such a gruesome death on our behalf, the price that was paid for us. So this just runs the full length of it, this crown of thorns. It's a wide belt, so it's cool with jeans. It's just a really neat belt. It's 100% leather, so it's great, great quality. It even has an inscription, Romans 13:14, on the back right there. I don't know if you can see it, if I can get the light right. But it's right there, debossed on the back of the belt. The belt buckle, super heavy, kind of that brushed nickel. And when I say that this is kind of a selfish thing, I actually made these belts. I did this when I was between jobs. I had a really, really tough spot in my life, and I needed something to keep me occupied other than prayer and begging God to get me out of this situation, because I was between jobs, had a lot of financial burden, really tough on my family. I needed a project just to occupy my brain during that time. So I came up with the concept of making these belts. I've got a kind of a dressier belt and this casual belt that I just showed you. I designed it. I contacted a manufacturer that did Italian goods like that with the high-end leather, and I worked with them, contracted through them to get the belts done. I bought a ton of them because I was thinking I was going to go through Christian bookstores and be able to sell those. Bought a ton of them, had them shipped over, went to a trade show, actually worked with some companies, some bookstores that did it, but it just never took off. And everybody that I gift the belt to says that it's their favorite belt in the world. So looking back on it, I have no idea why I did that or why God, let me do that. But now I've got a ton of these belts on Etsy, ETSY, under that name, Immanuel Riparo. I'll put it on the store. So if you think your dad would love a very, very cool belt, that's a cool belt. And selfishly, I say, because I do have a ton of those, and I would love to be able to sell all of those. So anyway, that's the last gift on the list. I hope one of these 7 ideas gave you something to think about so that you can give your dad something special this Christmas, or if there's an event coming up for him. It's just always cool to personalize your gifts. That's usually the best advice that I can give when somebody's talking about a gift for a dad. Just make it personal so that there's some meaning behind it. I hope that this helped you guys, and I hope you'll have a Merry Christmas or whatever time of year it is that you're watching this video. Share it with other people and let them know 7 cool things that you can get for your dad. See you next time.